Hello, this is Emma for Pro Counselling, and today we are talking about working from home, that remote working situation, and the potential feelings of isolation and loneliness that can go with that. Goodness me, what a year and a bit it's been. Some of us might have worked from home before, some of us had been office based or with our colleagues. We've had that connection, that buzz, and this has been a bolt out of the blue. All of a sudden we are out there on our own working from home. What's coming through in a lot of the client work that I'm doing right now is that sense of aloneness, that sense of disconnection, that feeling of, I wasn't expecting this, how could I have prepared for this? I'm not going to lie, some people I've spoken to have been really content working from home, and other people have found it a real challenge. I've been doing some work with the people who have really struggled with working from home, and I want to share with you today some of the strategies that I know people have found most helpful. So there are things you can do for yourself, and that always tends to come down to boundaries and self-care. So if you are struggling working from home, you're feeling cut off, isolated, alone, these tips could help you out. Consider your space that you're working from. Can you somehow section that off, if you like, from your everyday space? Even if you haven't got an office, can you pack away your pop-up office into a box and shove it under the dining table at the end of the day? Can you just make it different so you don't feel like you are bogged down looking at that stack of paperwork, looking at that admin or to-do list? After your working day finishes, that stuff can be packed away. Like I say, even if it's just slung in a box and put in the airing cupboard. Get it out of your space though, in that regular 9 to 5 job or whatever hours you work. You switch off, you drive home, or you commute, or you walk home, you clear your head, you walk in the door, and to an extent you leave work behind. So actually, it's kind of unfair that work is on your table, coffee table or whatever now. Get it out the way, give yourself that mental break. The next thing is really a boundary around time. Try and stick to the hours that you would normally traditionally be expected and that you've agreed to work. There's nothing more miserable and deflating than a day where you never get to clock off. You're kind of waiting for that time when clock off happens, and then you can switch gear and get into home, family mode, shopping mode, whatever it is you need to be doing. So even if you're working from home, still give yourself the courtesy of being able to switch off at that time. Protect your time, boundary it and fence it off. Set an alarm on your phone if you have to. That's another really good strategy. Okay, this one deals with the work mindset, your psyche. And I've asked a few clients to do this, and they've found it really helpful. And I laugh because it sounds silly, but really it's not. Dress for work. I'm in my home office today, and I'm doing some client work. They might not even see me, but I've got my work blouse on. I've got a navy top on today. It makes me feel worky, and I just know I'm working. I sit differently. I've got a different mindset. So that's my number one tip for getting in the emotional space for work. Dress worky. And my number two tip is, if you struggle to associate part of your living arrangement with work because you haven't got an office or you haven't got a dedicated work area, use something subtle but powerful like scent. Have a work perfume or a work aftershave. Spritz that on, and mentally you're telling yourself, this is it, I'm in work mode, this is my time to work. It's amazing how these subtle little things give us a nudge. And that's another thing people have been doing, spraying on their work perfume. Once the alarm goes off and you've hit 4-5 o'clock, get in the shower, wash the work perfume or aftershave off, take the work clothes off, get in your housey joes, and give yourself all of these cues that there is still a routine. Connection time as well. If you are feeling isolated from the people you work with, make that connection time. Is your boss or your manager offering opportunities to have get-togethers, to have social support? Can you check it out with your colleagues? See how they're feeling. Maybe suggest some sort of monthly or weekly out of hours meet-up or something like that that adds a little bit of fun. Leave the house for your break if you are safe and able to do so. Go for a walk around the block. Do what you might normally do at work, where you might nip out and buy your box salad or breakfast bagel or whatever. You know, why should you lose these pleasures and these routines just because you are working from home? That's another thing that just adds a break to the day and tells you, right, now is the time to kind of move my shoulders around, take some deep breaths. Because what happens with a lot of people at the moment is life, home life and work are merging, and it's becoming this kind of muddy puddle in the middle where there are no defined areas. Something as simple as clocking out the same time every day for your lunch and walking to the shop for that box salad or whatever's nearby you at home can make a massive difference in your happiness and well-being with your job and home life at the moment. I hope some of these ideas will help you, because these are challenges that a lot of us, we could never have expected to happen in a million years. But there are small building blocks that you can use to build your resilience. Little top tips, and my two favourite: dress for work and put on a scent. And remember, when work time is finished, clock off, protect your space, protect your emotional well-being, pack the work away for the day, jump in the shower, and imagine all that. If you're good at imagining, imagine all that work stress, those phone calls, the deadlines, all of that stuff. See it in your mind's eye. Go down the plug hole in the shower. Literally wash that stuff off and come out fresh and ready to embrace that another shift in gear that tells you it's home time and it's time to relax. I hope that helps. Take care for now.